Curtis, spelling G-E-N-A, last name Curtis, C-U-R-T-I-S. And I'm a lieutenant assigned to Violent Crimes 2 over sex crimes. Today I wanted to bring you up to date on a sexual assault serial predator. This particular series began on December the 27th, and to date our most recent incident was this past Monday evening, the 8th of February. I know that we've already shared a good deal of information with you previously, but I really felt compelled that today we needed to talk again about this incident and reach out to the community and ask for assistance. This particular predator, what I can tell you about this particular predator, and I think that there's probably one, but there are a lot of unknown variables here. We don't have a lot of information, so I don't want to be so myopic in what I say to you that we don't look at the broader picture. This particular predator is coming up behind women. He's grabbing them, pushing them down, holding a knife to their throats, having some insignificant conversation, like be quiet. He's doing this in all types of places: apartment complexes, parking lots, stairwells, public access areas. But this most recent attack, he has migrated out into communities of houses. As you know, this most recent one was over near the Santa Cruz Balcones area. Consistently, for the most part, 5 of these attacks out of the 6 are within what I will call a triangular area. So we're up 183 North, bordered by Jollyville, Duval, and then down to the Balcones area. We're also talking about Floral Park. You know the specific locations where we're talking about. And then we have the 6th location, which is down around the 290-183 area. This individual is quite brazen and bold. These attacks are happening from 6 a.m. in the morning to 9:30 in the evening. We've had a couple in the afternoon, 3:30, 5:40. So they're all hours of the day. I don't want our citizens in the community to think that they're safe at any given time if it doesn't meet these very specific elements. That's not the case. We want our citizens, specifically our ladies, be aware of your surroundings. These attacks are happening from early in the morning to late at night. In an apartment complex, while you're taking things out of your car, to carrying groceries up the stairs, just trying to walk from your place of employment to your home. A wide array. I wish I could be more informative with a specific location, a specific day and time of the week, but I can't. Thus far, the 6 incidents have occurred on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Does that mean that we're good until Saturday of this weekend? I can't say that. The Austin Police Department Sex Crimes Unit is working collaboratively with other units within the department to ensure that we're putting out information to our patrol officers and to our citizens, saturating areas when possible with additional officers, with officers that are working in plainclothes capacities. We're reaching out and imploring the assistance of others, apartment managers. We're asking them to share the information with their tenants. Be on the lookout, be aware, watch your surroundings. So unfortunately, we don't have a lot to go on. We need the public's assistance. We need the help. We need the eyes and the ears of everyone out there. This individual, this predator, could look like you and I standing on a street corner. He could be anywhere. He could be, I don't know, trimming a bush. Who knows? So he looks like anyone else. There's nothing that's going to be so significant that as you're walking down the street, you're going to be able to go, oh, I've got to cross the street because that's a bad person. It's not the case. But this individual is watching people, waiting for that moment where there is a vulnerable victim or potential victim who is busy doing something else or just trying to make their way home, and there's no other visible sign of human life around, whether it's daylight or dark, and he's attacking. Now, I will tell you that most of our victims have screamed. Once, twice, the victims are screaming out, and the suspect is running away. Now, can I tell you that in every case, each and every person who may become a victim should do that? I can't tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what's happened thus far. The suspect thus far throughout each of these instances has been generally described as a white or Hispanic male, 5'7" to 5'9", English speaking. Our victims to date have not been able to discern that there's any type of accent. Again, so somebody, clearly just an individual from here in the Austin area. The face is typically covered with something. Could be a bandana, a scarf, many times just nose down. We have had the occasion where it's been a ski mask. Sometimes wearing what could be described as a hoodie or a long sleeve shirt or a windbreaker. But remember, this individual is attacking from behind. Many times our victims, they do not have the opportunity to actually see the attacker for any given length of time. Hence, because of the face being covered, we do not have a composite. We have nothing to share along those lines outside of this very vague and general description. That's why we rely, and we're going to ask all of our citizens to be on the lookout. If you see an individual, a female walking wherever, and she is attacked, please step up and help her out. Please at least get a look at the suspect. We have no idea if the suspect is in a vehicle, on a bike, because the victims have only seen the suspect running away. So we have no other information about mode of transportation. When we are out, we're obviously canvassing the areas, looking for surveillance videos. We're talking to people to see if anyone has seen anything and just not come forward. We do have our tip line set up within the sex crimes unit, and that's been put out in the press release. We're really asking for your assistance. We need you. Our victims need you. And we need to stop this individual before he victimizes anyone else. I think it's fair to say that in the press releases previously, we've not provided you with exact locations. Let me explain to you why that is. Sexual assault survivors have been traumatized. That trauma is like no other trauma. You personally have been violated. You're sharing a story over and over again to people who are trying to help you, counselors, investigators. When we provide too much information and people get close to them, it re-traumatizes them. And in some cases causes our survivors to literally shut down, where they don't want to talk with us, with a counselor, or with anyone. I am optimistic that with the help of the community, that we are going to be able to identify this predator and bring them to justice. But again, I can only say we can do that with the help of our victims, our survivors, having that open line of communication and being willing to move forward through that stage. We've got to get there first. So that's why we're not sharing an awful lot of information about specific locations. It's to protect our survivors. You're probably asking yourself, okay, are these cases related to the previous jogger cases? We do have 2 series working. Our jogger or hike and bike trail cases began in November of last year. The last incident was on January the 18th. And if you recall, that is the incident that we put out the photograph of the suspect running from the scene. And since that time, those have quietened down. We've not had one since. You're probably saying, are they related to this series? You know, in all honesty, all I can tell you is the MO or modus operandi is different, but could they be related? Sure. I cannot stand here today and affirmatively say to you that they are or they are not. But we are working each and every case as an individual case, sharing that information within our unit so that we have the big picture of everything that's happening with these series. I thought that there was another question about sexual assault and rape. Let me kind of clarify that, because I think there's still some misunderstanding or not having a good understanding of the terminology. Since the Uniform Crime Reporting System, the federal level, UCR, changed their rape definition in 2013, and we enacted upon that in the state of Texas in 2014. That UCR definition of rape is now our sexual assault statute. The 2 terms are synonymous and interchangeable. So you will sometimes hear me refer to something as a sexual assault, which is how we file affidavits. A sexual assault is a rape. All right. So I wanted to kind of clear that up for anyone who may have a question about that.
So you can confirm some of these incidents were rape?
Yes, let me go hit on that for you. Out of the current series, we have incidents ranging from attempted sexual assault to aggravated robbery. That's why I don't want to paint a picture of this predator and that people are only thinking one thing. The gamut right now is wide open. Know that this individual is stealthy, coming up from behind with a knife, a weapon, and he is groping women on the outside of their clothing, all right? He is violating women, and he has stolen money. So it's a wide array of things. But the MO is such that we believe in these, specifically these 5 incidences up in this triangle of 183 Jollyville Duval, that those are related. We believe them to be related and the same predator based on the similarities within how he's attacking the women.
So has he raped some of the women?
Yes.
How many of them?
1.
So then can I also ask about Cedar Park? There was an attack. Are you looking at that as well?
Yes. We have been in communication with Cedar Park PD and their investigator on that case. We're sharing information with them because, again, of the similarities with regard specifically to our jogger cases. And that was on January 14th that occurred. And our last jogger incident occurred on January the 18th. So, but again, slightly different in the time of day, because on our joggers, we had a window of